This is me. My name is James. I'm a lawyer. I'm 46 years old. I have a Spooky2 clinic in Mexico. The name of this Spooky2 clinic in Mexico is Zienzia. And basically, I treat people with Rife, Scalar machines, and some other Spooky2 products like Radionics. That's basically what I do in the clinic. Everything is alternative. And what I'm trying to teach you today is basics. It's basically my opinion and my way to treat people on the clinic. So basically, what I'm trying to teach you is not only what you are supposed to do, it's what I'm doing in the clinic and how I get results. And hopefully, you can get the best results from this to you. First, I want to talk about the remote because we're going to be looking at the train protocol by using remote. I'm going to start talking about this. How it happened to me. The first thing I bought when I went to Spooky2 was the remote. And honestly, I was like, this sounds very good to be true. And honestly, I don't believe it on it. I just buy it just to see what happened. To my surprise, it's just great. I love it the way the remote works. It's very hard to explain to people that just by putting a nail clip on a small thing, you can get cured and you can get well, so many things. So I use the remotes constantly. And here is what's the remotes on the origins. So in March of 2011, an user named Johann Stragman found something really interesting after buying a Rife machine. He found that the DNA contained on the fingernails or the hair transmit this energy to the owner of the DNA. That's basically the quantum entanglement principle of this. And when you put this between these electrodes of the machines, without applying the contact or the plasma or any other things, you get these results into your body. Johann was very skeptical about this, and he decided to prove this theory with his daughter, Tanya, who is very sensitive to the energy, and everything worked perfectly. So this is why Albert Einstein called this a spooky action at a distance, because he didn't know how to explain this stuff, and it worked. And that's the name of a spooky also. So put this into simple terms, basically, when a part of a single system is released and put in a different location, any action performed in that part of the system will be at the same time performed in the other part, and vice versa. Okay? This is why you take a nail clip and put it there. This is very important because also in the 70s, there were several of these experiments done by ex-former CIA agents that basically what they did is put a leaf of a plant, take it out of the plant, went miles away from the plant, connect the plant to a light detector, which is very sensitive to any kind of movements. And then in the other part, miles away, with the leaf of the plant, they use a knife and start to cut it. And surprisingly, the plant started to recognize that as pain. So it's really, really interesting how this works. Now, Spooky2 remote is basically very surprisingly, because when you put two strains of the DNA, if you can imagine or see it in a picture, is a helix, and that's an antenna. Basically, the DNA is capable of transmitting and receiving at the same time the encoded information of the person. So something that very few people know is basically that a remote is a small scalar machine. Basically, what they are doing is a small scalar machine. And what we do with the Spooky2 remote is that we use this nail to send an audio frequency to the nail, so the receiver can get it in any part of the world, regardless of the country, situation, whatever you want. That doesn't mean anything to the quantum entanglement works. Now, we use the scalar waves to make these transmissions work. And it's the Spooky2 remote uses scalar waves like bubbles that are formed within the DNA, and this signal travels and get it into the people. The only downside of this way of using this energy is it's not as potent as a plasma machine, for example. It's less strong, maybe 30 or 40%. But the biggest benefits is that you can run it 24/7. So the downside is also surpassed by the fact that you can use it all the time and you can have it with you the whole time. That's basically why you can use it with the rain with no issues. Okay, this is very important. When John was aware of this big announcement, he decided to reprogram the Spooky2 software. That's very, very important here, because Spooky2 software, in my opinion, is the best software you can have for delivering right frequencies to the body of someone. All this information, you can see it because I need to quote it on the Marcello Allegretti book, The Frequencies of Rifing, 3rd edition. I asked his permission to share all this knowledge with you, because this is why the remote is working. This is why the software is so important. And this is why you need to have it, everything together to work. Okay? So far, so good. Everybody's understanding everything? Okay. Now, about the nails in the remote. On the left, you will have the remote. Most of you are aware how it works. You just open it and put a nail inside it. On the right, I have two examples of how I put the nails at the beginning, and then there's an example how I put the nails today. The one that says Raul in the top is just a nail in between two stickers. It's basically a sandwich. At the beginning, I started using that kind of nail flips and that kind of solution, but afterwards, I started to using the one that's down, the one that says Julio. It's basically a taco. I'm Mexican, so everything is related to tacos here. So I just bent it. The reason for it is when you start using several nails in the same remote, you can do that, of course. I usually, or what I do most of the time, is the nails will not touch themselves, so the DNA is perfectly clear. So I just put it in the taco form, so I can stack more nails inside a remote without them touching. If I use the other way around, the one that's the two sticker like the sandwich, it's not so easy to do it, and you cannot stack them all of them there. Okay, so that's basically how I put the nails. Also, how much of the nail you need to cut? Basically, as much as you want. You don't need to put the whole nail. Sometimes they have to cut the nails to split it into 2 or 3 remotes, and that also works. Okay, so far so good. Now, this is how the Spooky2 remote looks in my clinic. I usually use the top part as terrains. I put people here in terrain all the time, and all the lower parts are just for treatments. I use also the Spooky2 Radionics here. You have a Pegotti board, you have some generator X, and a lot of GenXM. So you can put it all together. There is no problem with this. That's how it looks, one of the racks I have. Here's another image of another racks. These two also contain Spooky2 remotes there. So something important I want to share. If you have several remotes like this, I strongly suggest you to use only one computer to run all the remotes. Don't start using the computer for messing around with the plasma, all that. It's better just to leave the computer 24/7 running all the remotes. That will be the best solution for it. Okay? Remotes can work in any generator. GenXM, GenX, and GenX Pro will do the trick. As you can see, I have a lot of GenXM, and they perfectly work the remotes there. I have them running 24/7, 365, and no issues with them. Also with the GenXM, sorry, with the GenX and with the GenX Pro. Actually, there's something I like more of the GenXM. when you run this 24/7, sometimes you can have a small interruption in the electricity. And since the GenX and the GenX Pro are digital, you need to press the button. Sometimes it's better DXM because since it has this on-off switch, just leave it on, and when the electricity comes back, it can continue over and over. So that's perfect. Let's continue. We're going to talk about the Hertz reaction previously about going to remote. You have heard many times that when you start to getting cure, sometimes you start getting better and suddenly you get bad and then you get better again. That's basically a Hertz reaction. We need to understand this because it's very important, because we are receiving frequencies. We're going to talk about the terrain protocol, but we receive this frequency, and sometimes this frequency do a lot in our body, and we didn't know that. We didn't know that. We didn't feel it until enough is enough. Okay? So this Herxheimer reaction is called Herx. It's basically the result of all these proteins and mycotoxins, endotoxin and exotoxins that are released by these pathogens in our body because of the killing we are doing, or everything we got there and we are starting to deploy it. The symptoms in each body may occur, obviously, each person is different, but when these microorganisms die, they release this kind of toxins in their body, and now the body needs to get rid of them. If you start killing and killing and killing and killing all the time, you get tons of these toxins, and then you get a new problem, okay? That's why it's important to herx all the time, all the time, all the time. The user body responds to this inflammatory part with the immune system, and because of this, we have some symptoms that make us feel worse. Now, these kind of symptoms are very different on everybody. They can be, for example, joint pain, muscle pain, fatigue, nausea, stomach cramps, headaches, night sweats, fever, skin eruptions. That's very important. Photosensitivity, that's very unlikely, but happens also. Irritability happens a lot. Paresthesia, dizziness happens also a lot. Vertigo, sleep disturbances, both sides. You feel very, very sleepy, or you have no sleep at all. Asthenia, muscle cramps happens a lot also. You have also hypertension, hypotension, swollen glands. Also, you can have some cold or flu, coughing, sneezing, runny nose. You can have heavy respiration, metallic taste. That's happened a lot with the rain. Chills, bloating, constipation, diarrhea, a low fever, some heart palpitations, tachycardia. It's also the same. Irregular heartbeat, facial palsy, tinnitus, mental confusion or brain fog happen a lot also. Sometimes this is very unlikely, but also can have uncoordinated movements, bone pain, flu-like syndromes, conjunctivitis, throat swelling, sore throats, anxiety, mood swings, and some strong emotion and anger, despair, sadness, fear. Now, this is important. Is this caused by a Rife machine? No. Rife machines will not have any secondary effects on your body. This is caused because the Rife machine is actually working, and since it's killing, your body starts to release all these pathogens out of the body, and then you need to heal again. How long can this be? It's usually 1 or 2 days. Can last a little more? Yes. Can last up to 3-4 days. Depends on how strong are you inside, what are you killing. For example, in cancer patients, the Hertz reaction is really hard, as well as in Lyme, because you start killing cancer cells, and all these pathogens are starting to be released into the bloodstream. It becomes really big mess. So you need to be very aware that you can cause this reaction when you are using the Rife machines. anytime, remote, plasma, contact, whatever you wish, because you are killing. And the killing means this. This will happen also with a common medicine, so please be aware of that. So you need to understand the herx. So because of this, you need to understand when too much is too much. In order to minimize the effects of the herx, you need to start something doing something that I do in my clinics called the build-up method. What this is that you start going slowly, slowly, and slowly. So when you start using the remote, please first feel how you feel. Use it maybe, if you are using a frequency that's going to help you, like killing for flu or something, use it slowly, see how you feel. If you feel okay, then put in more time, and then you go gradually into this. The same will happen with remotes when using terrain protocol and some other protocols like the cancer protocol or the Lyme protocol. Okay? So some people said, I'm having hives every day. What can you suggest to run using Spooky? Well, if you're having this kind of herx problem, first is to build up a little by little. Second is to drink a lot of water, rest a lot, be calm most of the time. And the third is you also will find frequencies that can heal you or minimize these hertz reaction effects in between the Spooky2 platform or software. That is why it's recommended to have at least 2 remotes in home. Usually you will use one for healing and one for healing. In that way, your hex reaction will be the lowest as it can be. Okay? Now, here's what I told you. What can you do in order to reduce the herx? Drink a lot of water. Water is plain water. It's no Coke, no sodas. It's just pure water. Stop running the program and rest. That's the build-up. Do it slowly, slowly. And then use programs that would reduce the hertz reaction. That's basically what you can do in order to reduce this issue. Now, let's talk about the terrain protocol. This is really, really important. You need to prepare your body in order to receive a treatment, but you need to be aware how good or bad is your body, because usually if you are sick, your body is having troubles, and you will start having some issues trying to get well. So the terrain protocol is a very desintoxication process. By living, just because we are human, we need to live, to drink, to breathe, to move, to touch. We get contaminated with toxins. And the average way the body gets rid of these toxins sometimes is not enough, because there's so much pollution that we need to help our body to do this. As a result, the toxins will accumulate in our body and will start damaging our cells, leading us to physical discomfort or pathologies that will drain our condition. The terrain protocol will help your body to remove these metals, chemicals, toxins, bacteria, and parasites, and improve the overall wellness of your body, of the liver, kidney, lymphatic systems. Okay, so this is important to understand. The terrain protocol will not eliminate the toxins, all this. It will boost your immune system, so your system is going to work faster, and your system is going to release this. Because thinking another way, if you think that the frequencies will help us to release mercury from our blood, for example, this will not happen. The frequencies will be not strong enough. It's just strong enough to take off all these toxins out of our body. Our body is the one that's going to do it. But the frequencies are going to help our body to get rid of these metals or toxins faster. When we can do it? Well, you can start it when you're going to start a treatment, doing a service condition. But something important, you need to see, and you will see, there are different types of terrain programs and protocols. Each one is designed to minimize the herx effects on your body. Because the least you want to do, if the person reach you or yourself and you're feeling bad, you don't want to do another program that will make you feel worse, that will take you out of the system. And basically what you want to do is get rid of this and do not touch everything. So the first thing you need to do is to understand you will have herx and see what type of remote of terrain program on remote are you going to follow. If you feel your body is too weak to receive it, wait a little and then you start the terrain program, because the terrain program will last 11 days. 11 days into which your body is going to receive frequencies 24/7, and you're going to detox everything. So you're going to feel really, really, really tired sometimes, depending if the frequencies are getting or not some results in your body. Okay, so the first thing is to start when you're having a serious condition. The second part is if you're having a problem like cancer or Lyme, that's another way to start with protocol. And the third is the cancer protocol and the Lyme protocol, they have their own detox included, okay? So everything will be there. Now, this is something I want to show you here. I'm running here the Spooky2 program. In order to run the terrain protocol, we need to go to detox. Then you will see several ways to deliver this protocol. We're going to go to remote. And basically, you're going to see 4 programs: detox maintenance, terrain, terrain mercury, and terrain nonviolent. You see the R next to each, meaning it will be done by remote. On the top, you will see another 3 programs or 3 tabs. That's terrain low power, terrain mercury low power, and terrain non-mercury low power. There are people that's very sensitive to the energy and will feel a lot of this hertz reaction. So the Spooky2 team has made several terrain programs to avoid or to minimize this hertz reaction into your body. And we're going to talk about each one of these issues right now. Terrain RBY is a preset that would last for 11 days and will repeat itself all these 11 days depending on the day you are using it. It's a hard hitter which covers pretty much everything you have in your body. Okay, this is a full detox. This will get everything. The downside of this is you will get the herx, because it also have a very strong viral load and will start killing whatever is in your body. And with the killing comes the herx. So I recommend this kind of detox, the terrain RBY, for a person that's healthy and just want to experience a full detox. I will not go with this with a person that's under a heavy load, like cancer, like Lyme, or like diabetes, something that a person that's running low on energy. That will be my main focus. Okay, that's why we have another protocols. Then we go with the second one, terrain mercury RBY. Again, it's 11-day programs. It's just a different kind of protocol. It's a variant. It takes off all these mercury frequencies, and this is useful for the people who have mercury amalgams feelings and they do not want to experience this mercury detox. If you're relatively healthy but have metal feelings, it will be the protocols for you to use. Okay. Now we have terrain nonviolent RBY. This will run for 10 days and then will repeat itself during these 10 days. It's very gentle, just like the terrain protocol, but without all the presets that kills. Remember, if you kill, then you will have a herx. Instead of focus in healing and rejuvenation of the organs, if you are unwell and want to improve a function of your detox organ, this could be the perfect choice to do it. Also, if you have candida overgrowth, which is very common online, these presets will do the works. This protocol, the terrain nonviolence, will be the one that I will use for people with cancer, for example, Lyme, diabetes, some of these issues that will drain all your energy and you don't want to feel bad at the first time. What I do in the clinic sometimes, people who want to start right away the treatment, is I start with this terrain nonviolent protocol, and at the same time, I start with the remote, trying to address their issues. At the same time, start to heal and detox at the same time. I go back to back, but using this terrain nonviolent protocol. And last but not least, we have the detox maintains protocol. That's very gentle. It's a generic detox designed to remove toxins to your body without any herx effect. If you feel uncomfortable using the terrain nonviolent, then this will be the next option to start. And we have another options within the Spooky2 program. You see here we have terrain low power, terrain mercury low power, and terrain nonviolent low power. So basically, if you have the terrain, you'll experience 100% of the frequency in your body. If you are in the low power, what will happen is you will receive a quarter, 3/4, half, and almost full quarters of the frequency into your body. If you double click the guide will open and we'll explain you this in the few parts. You see, the first preset is 1/20th of the amplitude of the standard protocol. The second, that will be this one, will be 1/10. The third is 1/5, and the last is half of the amplitude. So if you're very sensitive to energy, this will be the ideal way to work. And this will happen using anything of the terrain protocols. You can use detox, terrain normal, terrain mercury, or non-violent, and then you can have these three in these three subcategories. So you can find the best protocol for you, avoiding, of course, or trying to minimize the hertz reaction as most. Now, this is important because you're entering a protocol that would last 11 days or 10 days, depending on what protocols are you assuming. So it's very easy to say, you leave your computer 24/7 and the remote will work. In my experience, most of the cases, that doesn't happen. Windows always happen to have a problem, reboot, virus, energy breakdown, or whatever. There's something else. So if you can see here, you can go to Spooky2 Mall blog, diagonal how to resume terrain protocol. You see here in the top of the screen, the web address. And then you will see all the days and what's doing each day the terrain protocol. For example, you have remove metals, day 1 and 2. Day 3, you have remove chemical materials. Day 4, remove systemic toxins. Day 5, systemic toxins 2. Day 6, remove intestinal toxins. Day 6.2, remove systemic toxins. Day 7, parasites and liver function. Day 8, kidney function. Day 9, kidney function 2. Day 9 again, cleans blood. Day 10, kidney and liver toxins. Day 10, intestinal parasites. 11, lymphatic system, and 11.2, lymphatic system 0.2. As you can see, it's just great program. So you need to understand everything is going to happen. Now you have all this information. You can choose what terrain are you going to use, non-violent, terrain normal, or non-mercury. And if you're using the protocol, and let's suppose that day 5, you're running the protocol, and you stop it because anything happened, then you can restart this on day 5. Here's a small slideshow, but I want to do it live so you can understand better this. So I'm going to select terrain BY, double click. I go to my control. I'm going to override the generator. And here you see, in the top part, you will see um, generator 1, remove metals. You will have it here. Okay? This is the first day. But you hit start, and what you're going to see is the counting starting. And each time it reaches this frequency time, it will go to the next one, next one, next one, and we'll continue this until this preset is done. I will repeat it over and over the whole day. Now, let's assume you are on day 6 and electricity breakdown, the computer shut down, and you want to recover on day 6. Well, basically, what you're going to do is the same. Go to presets, terrain, control, override generator. And here you will see preset. Just put number 6 and click the mouse anywhere else, like here, or just click enter. And you will see it goes to 6.1, remove intestinal toxins. So you can start where you left, you click start, and there you are set. You continue just the day you stop having your frequency range. If you want to go to, let's say, 8, and click the mouse here, then you go to, remember, sometimes in the presentation I show you is 6.1, 6.2. That's why the numbers go in that order. So 8 will be 7, parasites and liver function. Hit start, and you're ready to go. Now, something that you should know is that in my family, I run the terrain remote 24/7, and then it stops having the 11 days, and usually I let 20 more days to go, and then go again with another terrain, another terrain, another terrain. I run it at the same time for my mother, my kids, and myself. And the first time I feel a herx, of course, but now I've run it maybe 11, 12 times. Each month I run it. So I feel really, really good, and it's perfect, okay? So you can do it that way. I'm gonna show you how to use the generator X in a standalone version, so you can't load any kind of programs into it and then run them without the necessity of using a computer. It's important to let you know that you cannot load any programs that are sweep programs. Sweep programs cannot be loaded on the generator X or the generator X Pro. So the first thing I need to know is where is my Gen X. In this case, is 7 and number 8. I know them because I have this small image to the right showing the generator. These numbers can change, and this is not a Spooky2 problem. It's a Windows issue related to the USB port where you are loading the generator X. So I'm going to go to Preset tab first. Click the Home, go to Detox, go to Remote, and find here Terrain RBY. Double click it, go to Control, override generator. I'm going to override it on the generator 7. And I have here the program as it is. I'm going to go to Load, GX here in the right. I'm going to wait a second till a pop-up appeared. Once the pop-up is there, I'm going to delete anything I have it there. You will see in the top where I'm highlighting is number 1 and the name of the remote metal program. Then I'm going to go to the file 01, double click it. The name will appear there. I'm going to save it. And now I have saved the first part of the terrain protocol. In order to record the second day, I'm going to preset number 2, click outside it, and you will see here number 2 remote methods. I will repeat the process, go to load GX. The pop-up will appear in a second. Select number 2, double click it, save it. Then I'm going to go for the third day. So preset is number 3. Click outside. And here is 3 remote, remove chemical materials. I'm going to load the X.
wait for the pop-up, go to number 3, double click it, the name will appear there, and I'm going to save it. And I'm going to repeat this process for each of the days of the terrain protocols.
Now, let me move this to see if I'm hitting all the targets of the presentation. Okay. Now, I'm going to enter to some Q&A questions, usually of the terrain protocol. So the first one is the one I just explained. In the terrain protocol, will run 11 days. Did you put 11 days manually? No. Once you start the terrain protocol, it will hit run, and that's basically all the things you need to do. Then, how can I resume my terrain protocol if my laptop accidentally shut down? I just explained how to do it. Next one, should terrain protocol be run with other programs alone? Well, you can run it alone. In that way, no other frequencies will impact what terrain is doing. But once you know your body and know the effects you are having in your body, of course, you can run it with other programs. After the 11 programs of terrain, if you want to go safe, then you can do whatever you want into your body, and we'll be sure you will minimize this herx reaction into your body. Okay. Now, can I run the terrain protocol for more than one person simultaneously using the remote? And how often should the terrain be run? If the people have no serious concern, as I talked before, the DNA cannot go into one same remote and run it into one generator, but ensure each DNA sample is on its own paper sticker, as I teach you before. You can put the taco way or the sandwich way, whatever you want to. And you can put up to 50 fingernails in the DNA sample. Also, what you can do using small clips, you can use one of the stickers and put all the fingernails without touching themselves in the sticker, and then you put the taco in the ball. That's also that can be done. Okay. That's basically what we can talk about this protocol. So far, I would like to see if you have any questions in the protocol before switching to the next issue. Okay, some questions here. Can you stack all the stickers together and put in the remote? Yes, you can. No issues. It's necessary to perform a biofeedback prior running the terrain? No, you are talking apples and oranges. No issues with none of them. Can you use both human and pets together? Hard question. I will not go that way. I will go human on humans and pet on the pets. That will be my guess. I have never done it before. Good question, but that's my honest guess. Now, are you suggesting we run protocol only via remote? Well, not suggesting. This webinar is about protocol on remote. Of course, you can run it on Plasma,